Well, today I'm here with Trinity Medina, and Trinity is a former student of mine at Indiana Wesleyan University, and she's also part of the softball team there. And so we're going to be talking to her today about her transformation story and hope that it will give you some encouragement for today. So the first question I'd ask you, Trinity, is where were you? Kind of what was the theme of your life when Christ found you?
So kind of just starting out, when I was in 7th grade, my abuelo, I'm half Mexican, by the way, in case anybody couldn't tell, but my abuelo was deported, and he was the rock of our family, the my role model, the best person I've ever met, and it just started breaking down into my family falling apart, a lot of drinking, a lot of yelling, um, but I ended up turning away from God and just professing to myself that he's not real, and even if he was, he wasn't a good God. So I went 7 years up until my freshman year of college when I was actually ended up getting hurt, and throughout the whole month that I wasn't able to play softball with my team, God actually brought certain people into my life through roommates and people who lived on my hall. And then even our manager, Ryan Slack, who just continued to show me that I am worthy of being loved and that there's no reason that I have to earn somebody's love that goes beyond um, just like me trying to prove that I'm lovable, that to prove that people need to stay in my life or that they should be able to. Um, But I remember this is crazy, but I remember writing a letter to our manager just saying that I'm done hiding and I'm done trying to prove myself. And whatever happens, like I'm ready for the next step. And the next day, I had gotten a phone call that said our athletic trainer, Mary, had called and said, "You're cleared. Like you can play." And this was on, I'm pretty sure it was on a Thursday. It was our last scrimmage outside. My manager and my best friend, Addie Benham, came over to my dorm, and in the lobby of Evans Hall, I committed to Christ and I accepted him back into my life. And then it was like an hour later, we drive to our scrimmage, and the amount of joy that I had on the softball field, I've never felt that before. I think I got one base hit and then I struck out like 3 times, but I had this unbelievable just sense of joy.
Neat,
So, yeah.
really neat. What besides some of the circumstances there, what was it that made you want to become a follower of Christ at that moment? What was it that drew you?
Um, really, like, my entire life, I've lived it just being shelled off from other people and just building walls and pretending to always be happy, and I never felt like I was truly myself with anybody. But then after reading through the Bible and just repeatedly I started in the New Testament and actually started in Hebrews. And Hebrews 13, 12 through 13, I actually have it on my wall. But it just spoke about taking a new grip with your tired and shaky hands and paving out a path for others to follow behind you. And like that just transformed me because I was so tired of pretending to be happy and to pretending to be what everybody wanted me to be. But Christ wanted me to be myself, and He wanted me to show others that even though I'm going through such a hard time and I repeatedly fall back into old habits of just not believing that I'm enough, um, like He wants that to be able to show other people, like through my story, that no matter what, like you are lovable, you're unconditionally loved. And like that transformed everything for me. and just to know that there's somebody out there who wants me for my rawest form.
Hmm. Mhm.
Mhm.
And you mentioned that word transformed. How have things been transformed in your life since? I mean, what kind of things have happened, or that you can kind of celebrate because of this transformation that's been happening in you?
Um, well, mainly, for me personally right now, I ended up reaching to a mentor, and he has just been insane with showing me how to love myself and see myself through God's eyes. And since then, I've been more bold in my faith. I've been more bold in who I am personally. And it's gone from at practice praying for teammates. I have prayed, I think last year, the entire school year, I prayed out loud 3 times. Um, since January, I have prayed out loud over 10 times. Um, but I started praying for teammates, just pulling them aside and talking to them. I'm praying over my entire team. And then even just pursuing people on my hall floor or in previous classes and having these talks, whether it's sharing my testimony or just like showing how God's been moving through what I've seen in other people's lives. And for me, like I'm a very shy person. So that's definitely been a struggle, but it's insane to see like how all of these new relationships are forming because I'm taking that step.
Wow, really cool.
Mhm.
What would you say to that person out there who maybe during all that's going on with the pandemic and quarantine and all that is, they're feeling lonely, maybe they're doubting, maybe they're upset or fearful, whatever emotion might be going through. How would you encourage them?
Um, it's definitely really scary, but I would say to be bold. Take the step, whether it's opening up the Bible and you're being iffy about even wanting to read it at this point, or just even asking somebody like how you can pray for them, because then they'll ask in return how they can pray for you most of the time. Or even just that sense of asking, it brings a small like sliver of joy into your own life. So be bold, talk to people, reach out to them, or even just open a book or the Bible that has some relation to Jesus.
Great. Well, thanks for taking the time today to, do this interview and to offer a word of encouragement. We're just really hoping that during this Holy Week, as we celebrate up to Easter, that a lot of people will get a sense of joy and will be having something that can lift them up and encourage them each day. And so, thanks for being able to be willing to do this for
Mhm.
that purpose.
Thank you for having me.